Okay, but that does not mean it's going to record, because earlier I recorded and then got an error message when I uploaded it that it had never uploaded to Microsoft's Processing Center, which is called Microsoft Streams. So that left me without a video. So if we don't have a video, we don't, but at least we'll have notes. Okay, so number one, we're being asked to graph. Oh, good. Just found out my stylus will work on there, just like my mouse. Okay, so anyway, back here, we're being asked to graph a line that goes through -4, -2, and 0, -6. So here's what I have to do. Make it a little bigger if I have to. And then I click over here at enlarge. Didn't do any good at all. Okay, I have to know ahead of time what it is I'm graphing. So that's a line. And it told me I'm graphing a line, right? I graph the line through those 2 points. So what I have to do now is plot these 2 points. So first I click on the line. In fact, this tells me what to do. Choose the tool in the palette and follow the instructions. Okay, bing. Now it says, click the graph and plot the first point. It doesn't matter which one I make the first point, but I usually start on the left and try to use the same method for myself, but that's a personal choice. -4, -2 is going to be going 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 2. So I'm going to click there. And it tells me I was on -4, -2. Now I'm going to 0, -6. Anytime the first number is negative, your number is on the y-axis. So I know it will be -6 right here. And I'll click. And there's nothing else to do. I'll save. And then here's the scary part. Clicking on check answer. When it says good job, you can take a sigh of relief. When it doesn't, that's very irritating. Now it's going to ask me other questions. How to find the slope of the line. Find the ratio of the different, oh, please spare me. I bet it's this one. Let's see what happens when you guess. Okay, it's wrong. Okay, all right, I give up. I don't want to answer all these questions, but I guess I better. Let me read the others. Oh, it was this one. Find the ratio of the vertical change to the horizontal change. Yes. The slope of a line containing 2 points is given by m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Nice work. Oh, they're going to make me go step by step. Okay, all right, fine. You got to do what you have to do. Let -4, -2 be x1, y1. Let 0, -6 be x2, y2. And now I'm going to have y2 minus y1, which is -2. So be careful when you've got negative numbers. And then over x2 minus x1, well, this is x1. X2 is 0. Okay, check answer. Yay! Okay, now what is that going to give me? Well, let's do some calculating. If I'm going to let this be x1 and y1, and this be x2 and y2, and I'm using the formula, let's write over here, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and that gives me -6 minus -2 over 0 minus -4. Then what I'm going to have is -6. This minus gives me a plus 2. And this is going to be 0 minus minus, so it's a plus, 0 plus 4. So -6 plus 2 is -4. 0 plus 4 is +4. -4 over +4 is -1. Let's see if that's right. Oh, they're taking me step by step, right? So this is going to be, I'm going to say it's -4. Check answer. Yes. And now, do I get to say -1 now? -1. Woo! Good job to me. Okay, remember having to do all that. That's how you find the slope of a line. Lines have an infinite number of points, and here they only give you 2, but that works. Any 2 points on a line can give you the slope of the line. Here, notice that the slope is negative. Whenever a line has a negative slope, that means the line is tilting over to the left like this, or it's dropping from left to right. That's important because if that were a positive one, it would be rising from left to right. And we're going to talk a lot more about that. Okay, let's talk about how you do this. First, are there questions about what I just did? Okay, if you have a question, just unmute yourself if you're muted. Unmute yourself and say, hey, I've got a question, and we'll talk about it. Okay, I'm going to make little separation lines. Now we're going to do number 2, where we're taking a line in standard form and we're going to change it to slope-intercept form in order to find the slope. So 2x minus 8y equals 28. What I'm going to do, since to put this in slope-intercept form, let me put it over here. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, I have to solve for y. So the first thing I'm going to do is, since this is positive 2x, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides of the equation. 2x minus 2x is 0, minus 8y equals. Now, notice this too. You've got a positive 28 here. It's just as though there were a plus sign in front of it. Meanwhile, terms always take the sign in front of them, so 2x is also taking the negative sign. This is negative 2x. In order to have this in slope-intercept form, I have to have the x term first. So I'm going to take the x term, negative 2x, and then put the number term, the constant term, plus 28. So that what I'll have is negative 8y equals negative 2x plus 28. Now, what I do to solve for y is I divide both sides by the number in front of y, negative 8, and I divide this side by negative 8, so that the negative 8's over here, cancel, and I'm left with y, and I'm going to move over here. Meanwhile, this is not slope-intercept form. I have to get this in slope-intercept form. So I am going to say negative 2 over negative 8. Oh, ugly. Time for the eraser. Okay. Negative 2 over negative 8 times x plus 28 over negative 8. Now, I haven't reduced those numbers yet. You can't have a fraction that's not completely reduced. So I'm going to have, and this is supposed to be just an equal sign. All right, the negatives cancel. And 2 over 8 is 1 over 4. So this is 1/4 x. Now I've got a positive 28 over a negative 8. Positive over negative is negative, and 28 over 8, let's see, 28 is 4 times 7, and 8 is 4 times 2, so the 4's cancel, leaving me with 7 over 2. And so I think my answer should be 1/4 x minus 7 over 2. What do you think? And is that even what they were asking me? I found the slope and the y-intercept. What is the best first step? Are you going to do this to me again? Solve the equation for y or solve the equation for x. Of course you're going to solve it for y. Oh, I'm not going to go through all these steps. Here are the answers. The number in front of x is your slope. The x is not included. M equals 1/4. The y-intercept is a tricky question because the y-intercept is a point, and points always have two numbers, two coordinates that express where they're located. So you're going to put a 0 in the first position and negative 7 over 2 in the second position, and this is the y-intercept. Okay? Okay. Again, I don't know if you have questions. If you do have questions, but you don't want to ask, if you put them in chat, you know, I could go back in chat and read what you're asking, or you could email me later. There are all sorts of ways to ask things. Okay, all right, I'm going to move on, and it's going to yell at me probably. See? You're going to flunk! You're going to flunk! Are you sure you want to leave? Yes, I do. Okay, what's the slope here? It's 6, right? The number in front of x. This is slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. B is 4. So for number, what is that, 3? We have y equals 6x plus 4. M is 6. And 4 is really 0, 4. The y-intercept. Okay. Oh, I didn't put the answer in, but it doesn't care now. It's decided I'm a failure. Here, same kind of thing. -6 is the slope and 0, -5 is the y-intercept. Now here, you've got to solve this equation for y, but that's easy enough. All you have to do is divide both sides by, no you don't. Don't do that. Subtract 9 from both sides and then divide both sides by 3, and let's do it. Oops, wait a minute here. Always, oh, okay, 825 notes. 0825 notes. And this is going to go somewhere. So fall 2020, math 1203. Actually, oh, co-rec. That's what I call you guys, co-rec. Homework lecture worksheets. Okay. Because you're a co-requisite class. Okay, so 10x equals 3y plus 9. I have to solve for y. That means I have to get y alone by itself on one side. So I'll subtract 9 and subtract 9. Meanwhile, this is positive, and I know that because it doesn't have a negative sign in front of it. So I'll say plus 10x. 9 minus 9 is 0. I'll have 3y equals -9 plus 10x. Now, I agree with you that this looks weird because it's not the way we usually see it. So let's turn it around. 3y equals -9 plus 10x. And so 3y equals 10x minus 9. And so I'll divide by 3. And actually, since I'm going to end up separating them anyway, I usually just skip a step and do that. Okay, let's see if I can fit that in. These y's, these 3's cancel, leaving me with a y equals 10/3 x. Now 9 divided by 3 is 3, so this is going to be minus 3, and I hope that doesn't get lost when this gets published. So you see we've still got y equals mx plus b. Here it's minus 3. Okay, again, you've got to pop up and say something if you have a question, so do that. Aha! Now here is the famous but not loved way. Let's make this bigger, yeah. The famous but not loved way to find the slope of a line. Nobody likes it, but I mean, most people don't. But it's what you do. You know, you've got to know how to do all this stuff. So we have a formula that you have to memorize. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals, all right, I have to decide about these points. And like I said, usually I'd start on the left and I let that be point 1. And I let the one on the right be point 2 just because I made a method for myself so I could work quickly. That doesn't mean it's right. You could go the other way around as long as you're consistent. So we'll have x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'll have m equals, oh, actually I could have gone up here, couldn't I? Okay, so we'll have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, so y2 is 4, y1 is 1, x2 is 8, y2 is 7, equals 4 minus 1 is 3, 8 minus 7 is 1, so 3 should be our slope. Should I, dare I? All right. Oh, good. So yeah, even when some of these numbers are negative, you're pretty safe if you use parentheses, because then your negative will be in the parentheses, you'll still have the minus sign out front, and you'll be less likely to make a mistake. For instance, here, we're going to have number 7, we've got 9, negative 4. Let that be x1, y1. And we've got 1, negative 8, 1 comma, negative 8, and that's x2, y2. And so I've got m equals y2. If you write it over and over again, you'll never forget it. Okay, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We're going to have, what are we going to have? We're going to have negative 8 minus negative 4 over 1 minus 9. Now let me make sure that's right because I'm moving fast. Yeah, negative 8, negative 4, 1, 9. Okay, so that's going to be negative 8 plus 4 because of the minus minus, or I should say minus negative. And 1 minus 9 is negative 8. So we will have negative 4 over negative 8. And that's going to be positive 1/2. But something that helps is, since we've got a negative sign on top, negative sign on the bottom, why not let them cancel? Then you'll have 4 over 8. You know that 4 goes into 8 2 times. So your slope is going to be 1/2. 1 divided by 2. There. Now I've got to speed up a little bit. Aha! I'll speed up if I'm on a treadmill. We've got number 8 here. And here we've got a female, appears to be, on a treadmill, stylishly, forget the word, but anyway, she's stylishly dressed. We need to find the grade. Just like a road has a grade, well, the grade is just a slope, but it's given as a percent. Yeah, if you look at the screen farther down below, they're looking for a percent. So first we find the slope. M equals the rise over the run, 0.1 over 5. Now, I am going to bring up my calculator. Can you see the calculator? I need at least one person to unmute themselves and say either yes or no.
Yeah, see it.
Yeah.
Yay, yay, okay, thank you. what I need to do, because I wasn't about to waste time doing that by hand, I could, okay, is I'm going to say 1 point up. I'm going to say 0.1 divided by 5. So 0.1 divided by 5. This is a TI-84 plus CE, as you can see. But the TI-83 does the same thing. So this is 0.02. Now, that's all well and good, but they want a percent answer, and this is the decimal answer. So we have to take 0.02 or 0.02 and change it into a percent. So there are two ways of looking at this, depending on how you were taught in elementary school. Some teachers say just move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Well, that would give you a 2, right? You would have 2 decimal, which is a 2. So this would be 2%. Other teachers are more exacting and they tell you to change a decimal to a percent, multiply the decimal by 100. And if you do that, you will get 2. So if I were to do that on my calculator, 0.02 times 100, boom, I've got a 2. That was thrilling, wasn't it? That was thrilling. Yes, I know it was. Okay. Now, the next problem, as I recall, is the same exact kind of problem, so I'm not going to do it. But what it does is it lets you find the pitch of a roof. And pitch is like grade, except it's in the construction industry. You find the slope and then turn it into a percent. You should go home and look up the pitch of the roof of the building where you live. All right, now we are moving on. We're going to be finding the X, well, no, we're going to be finding the X and the Y intercept. There's a method that can make this easy. We have right now 21Y minus 105 equals negative 15x. Now, I don't have to do what I'm about to do, but it just will look better if I do. So I'm going to add 15x to both sides, just because it looks better. This is already positive 21y, so that will make this 15x. Well, I'll put it here. How about that? That'll give me a 0 over here. Now, I admit this is 2 extra steps that you don't really have to do. Okay, now I'm going to add 105 over to the other side, plus 105 plus 105. Negative 105 plus 105 is 0, so I will have 15x plus 21y equals 105. And this is standard form. What standard form is so good for? Standard, I'll just call it standard, but it's standard form. What it's so good for is finding the intercepts. That's the best thing it's used for. In fact, you can find the intercepts faster by hand than you can on a graphing calculator. You make something that looks like a little tic-tac-toe board. Like that. And what this means is let x equal 0 and find out what y is. So that will give you 15 times 0 plus 21y equals 105. So this is 0. Oh, anything times 0 is 0. 21y equals 105. Divide by 21. Divide by 21. And 21 goes into 105 5 times. Y equals 5. When x is 0, the number is on the y-axis, so this is the y-intercept, the point 0.05. Now we're going to do the same thing and find the x-intercept. And for the x-intercept, the y-coordinate is always 0. So here we go again. 15x plus 21y equals 105. I'm going to let y equal 0 this time. 15x plus 21 times 0 equals 105. 21 times 0 is 0. So what that leaves me with is 15x equals 105. Divide by 15. Divide by 15. Cancel, cancel. X equals, and I'm going to get my calculator. Ooh, that's a pretty picture. I'm going to get my calculator on that one and say 105 divided by 15. 105 divided by 15 is 7. So the y-intercept is 0.5, the x-intercept is 7.0, and what those are, if I can do one of my really bad graphs, is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the x-axis. That's the x-intercept. 0.5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the y-intercept, and these 2 points, well, we already have the equation of the line. 15x plus 21y equals 105 is the equation of that line right there. Often when you have a line in standard form rather than slope-intercept form, it is very, very easy to find the intercepts. So it's silly really, unless you're supposed to find other points. You're being asked to graph it, just go right for the intercepts. Okay, it says now it use the intercepts to graph. You would do the same kind of thing, but you would graph it like we did before. There, you would choose a line, and then you would plot the points, which I haven't figured out yet. But that's the way you do it. Let x equal 0, find y, let y equal 0, find x. And again, graph the equation using the slope-intercept form. Now, this is one of the fun things in math, okay? It's a real quick method for graphing a line. Here we go. Well, that won't help, will it? Because I'm going to click here. Yeah, all right. Okay. Now what we have is y equals 4/3 x plus 6. And you might not be able to see it from where you are. So let's move this over here. And this over here for a minute. Okay, so I just want to write this down. Y equals, doggone it, 4/3 x plus 6. This is how slope can be used as a roadmap. What you do is you always start at the y-intercept. So when we get ready to graph, we're going to start at 2, 4, 6, right there. I'm going to put a dot right there. And then from 6, I'm going to use the slope to take me to the next point. The slope is telling me this. Go up 4 because 4 is positive, and the top number is always a y number, a vertical number. The bottom number is an x number. A positive 3 means to go right. So here's my strategy. I'm going to click on 6, and then I'm going to count up 4 and to the right 3 and click again. Okay, here I go. Oh, first I have to click the line though. And then, okay, I'm going to put a dot on 6. And then I'm going to go up 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's see if I got it right. Well, I thought it was going to mark me wrong. What I should have done is over to the right, it tells you what the points are in parentheses. So you can always judge where you are by that. Now here, this is more interesting. It really, really is more interesting. Let me, yeah, there you go. Okay. No, I can leave it like that. All right, so this is number 14. This was number 13. And here we have y equals -6/5 x minus 4. Here's my strategy. Start at -4 on the y-axis. Then our slope, we have to stop and consider this for a minute. Our slope is -6/5. We have a lot of freedom here, okay? I can put that negative sign anywhere I want to, meaning I can put it up with the 6, or I can put it down with the 5, which means that I could write this as -6/5, and I could write it as +6/5. Now, if I wrote this as -6/5, that would mean start at -4, go down 6, and to the right 5. Or if I don't have room to do that, I could start at -4, go up 6, and to the left 5. And I would still get a point on the line. Because all that matters when you're doing this, they're not asking for intercepts. They're just asking you to graph the line, but use the point slope method. Okay, so here we go. Now I have to make a decision first. And I can see, this is my favorite way, quite honestly, is to put the -6 on top, is to put the negative sign on top. That's just what I'm most used to. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click a straight line. I'm going to go to -4. Let me pull this in a little bit first. Oh, it's staying as big. Good. Okay, now I wonder if I can pull that up a little bit. Not much. Okay, I'm going to start at -4 and put a dot. And I'm going to look over there. I'm going to look in the right-hand corner to make sure I'm on 0, -4. And then click. And then I can go down 6, if it wasn't for this stupid thing. Okay, delete. Yes. We're going to do it again. All right, line -4. I'm going to go down 6, 2, 4, 6. And to the right 5, 2, 4, 5. And I'm going to save. And I'm going to hold my breath. Yeah, all right. I could also, I don't want to go to the next question yet. I could also have started at -4 and gone up 6 and to the left 5. And here's this is what would have happened. Start at -4, go up 2, 4, 6, and then to the left 5, 2, 4, 5. And I would still be on the line. So you have some choices when you're doing this. Okay. I'm going to save. Okay. This is important. They want us to graph the following equation and, if possible, determine the slope. Well, many of you may have memorized in beginning algebra that the graph of a vertical line, well, it's a lot to memorize, actually. You would have to have remembered that x equals 4. That x equals 4 is a vertical line. And that the slope of a vertical line, of all vertical lines, is undefined. Let's graph it and talk about why. Well, no, we need to find some points first, so let's do that. Let's just make an X and a Y chart. Okay, well, I'm being told X has to equal 4 here. 4, 4. And there is no Y to force me to calculate a particular Y. I can let Y be any number in the universe. So I might as well let y be easy numbers. So I'm going to let this y be 0 and this y, I don't know, be 2. It could be anything. Now I have 2 points, I can graph the line. So I click there, I click here, and I'm going to x equals 4, y equals 0, and x equals 4, y equals 2. And this is the graph of x equals 4. Now it's not asking us, oh, I've got to check answer, then it's going to ask us. It's going to ask us what the slope is. Are they nasty people or what? Okay, we're going to do this. We've got the point 40. We've got the point 42. This is x1 and y1. This is x2 and y2. And m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And now I will just throw those numbers in. 2 minus 0 over 4 minus 4 equals 2 over 0. And now all the bells and sirens are going off. The fire trucks are coming, the police are coming, because you can't do that. That's the ultimate undebatable thing in mathematics you cannot ever do, is put a 0 on the bottom of a fraction. And the reason is that in real life, it means an explosion is happening. And if you've ever had chemistry, you've had that explained to you how that happens. With Boyle's law and whatnot, and the pressure formulas, if you let your denominator go to 0, kaboom! Your nuclear power plant has gone all over the place. And you don't want that. So you avoid zeros in the denominator at all costs. That's undefined. It's so bad it's undefined. That's why the slope of a vertical line is undefined. And that's really true. Any of you who are going into engineering, you will learn. Never, ever, if you're using Boyle's law, you never let that bottom get even close to 0, or your professor starts yelling and screaming and doing all kinds of weird stuff. That's why, okay? The slope of a vertical line is undefined. So there. I have not completed it. That's right, I haven't. 2 over 0. 2, does it even let me? Yeah, I guess it does. What is the slope of the line? Type an integer or a fraction. It's undefined. Oh, yeah, look around, Barbara. Here, that's what I should have answered. There was a place to write not defined. Okay. Now, here's one of the other funny looking lines. You've got y equals, well, it stands to reason if x equals a number as a vertical line, then y equals a number as a horizontal line. It is. Number 16, y equals -5, I think. Yeah. Y equals -5. I'm going to do the same kind of thing. I'm going to make an XY chart. But now I'm being told that y, no matter what, has to be -5. And there is no x in the equation to hold x to a particular number so I can let it equal anything. So again, I think I will go for 0 and 2, just because. So I come over here, hit the line. I'm going to graph the point 0, 0, -5. X is 0, y is negative. Oh, go away. Clear. Okay. 0, -5. And 2, -5. And there's our horizontal line. What is the slope of the horizontal line? We're going to go through the same method. Okay, so we're going to let 0, -5 be x1, y1, and 2, -5 be x2, I didn't have to put that there, x2, y2, and m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We are going to have boom, boom, minus boom, boom, and boom, boom, minus boom, boom. Y2 is -5. Y1 is -5. X2 is 2. Y2 is 0. And so I'm going to have -5 plus 5 over 2 equals 0 over 2. Now you can put that in your calculator and the answer is 0. It's okay to let your numerator be 0. You just can't let the denominator be 0. The worst that will happen will be 2 into 0 is 0. So the slope of our line this time is nothing but 0. Wow, time passes fast when you're having fun. Graph the following equation and if possible determine the slope. This is a trick. F of x is y. So this is really just y equals 3. Horizontal line, slope 0. Now, yeah, we got time. We've got 5 minutes. Let's push it to the limit. We're going to find out if these two lines are parallel. Most lines are not parallel. They're just normal lines doing their own thing. But let's find the slope. You can only tell if two lines are parallel by finding the slope. Even if they look parallel, they might not be exactly parallel. So you have to find the slope. So, we're going to have 2x plus 5 equals y. Well, this is the same thing as y equals 2x plus 5. So the slope is 2. Now let's go over here. Y minus 2x equals -1. To get this in slope-intercept form, I add the 2x to both sides. y equals 2x minus 1. The slope is 2. Yes, they're parallel. Parallel lines have the same slope. So you have to check your lines and see, do they have the same slope? If they have slopes like 7 and 2/3, they don't have any relationship to each other at all. But if they have the same exact slope, they are parallel. Now we've got time, 3 minutes. We can do this in 3 minutes. The last problem, because all the rest ask you about, are these parallel? Are these parallel? Are these parallel? 21 is perpendicular, which means do they occur in a T? Number 19. Here we've got two lines. 4y minus x equals 4. So what would that be? That would be 4y plus x. No, it wouldn't. That's what I get for doing it fast. So excited. Huh. No, better to do it this way. I'm going to add x over to one side. 4y equals x plus 4. There's a 1 there in front of the x, an invisible 1. So when you divide by 4, what you get is 1/4 x plus 1. So the slope is 1/4 of this line. Now check the other line. Y equals 4, y plus 4x equals 6. Subtract 4x from both sides. Y equals negative 4x plus 6. Well, they're definitely not parallel, right? This is the slope, 1/4 and negative 4. This is harder. This is how I know if these two lines form a T or cross at a 90-degree angle, which is perpendicular. I have to multiply the two slopes together, and if I get the number -1, then they are perpendicular. Let's see what we get. I'm going to multiply positive 1/4 times -4. You can do this on your calculator, or you can do it like this, which is actually easier. 1/4 times -4 over 1, because that is what -4. -4 over 1 is. Now, I'll multiply the tops of the fractions together, that'll give you -4. Multiply the bottoms of the fractions together, that'll give you 4. -4 divided by 4 is -1. So yes, these lines are parallel. Perpendicular. They're perps. How about that? They're perpendicular to each other. Okay, do you feel like your head's swimming? This is it. I do not know if this recorded. I did put it on record. I even took an extra step and put it on record. Let us see what happens. Because like I said, there was a big failure with this earlier today. And it had to be my failure. Why couldn't it have been someone else's? It's probably not a nice thing to say. Okay, am I still sharing the screen?
Yes. Yes.
All right, let's look here. Recording has started. I'm going to stop the recording. Keep your fingers crossed.